Here at Ultimate Reloader, we've already taken an in-depth look at the Gen 1 Helix HDLR from Element Optics. This time, we're gonna get our hands on the all-new Gen 2 model. Hey guys, Gavin Gear here from UltimateReloader.com. The last time that we looked at the Helix HDLR from Element Optics, it was the 2:16x50 Gen 1, and that was the perfect pairing for the MG Microlight in 6.5 PRC. This time, we've got the all-new, brand new, now available Helix HDLR Gen 2, this time in a 6:24x50. Let's get this baby out of the box and see what's included. Okay, so here's what we've got. Of course, we've got the scope itself. Looking forward to getting that mounted to the rifle. We've got both an aperture ring, which can be very helpful for depth of field and that kind of thing. We've got an included sunshade, which I always appreciate and always run if I can, if I have clearance on the rifle. Sometimes the different type of forward bridges and whatnot mean that you can't run one of those. Lens cleaning cloth, the decal, removable throw lever. This is another kind of must. If we want to take off the windage cap, we've got a nice thread protector here that'll keep those threads in good condition. And then we also have bungee rubber caps or the option to run these rigid plastic flip-up caps, which is awesome. Now you'll notice one thing is missing, and that's an owner's manual, and that's because if we look at this insert, that's the first thing that you take out of the box. We can use our camera, scan this QR code, and that's going to take us over to the appropriate resources on the Element Optics website. So there we go. We've got our documentation and some information there. Very nice. So I'm going to go pick a rifle and get this baby mounted. So check this out. This is the complete rifle that we used for Helix HDLR Gen 2. This rifle is a hammer. Now we got a full rifle build video coming up on this, but here's the high level cliff notes. We've got a pristine short action. This is the 6-lug variety. And I installed a 445 bolt face for the ARC family of cartridges, 22 ARC. And we've got a Ballistic Advantage 1-in-7 barrel blank, 24-inch finished, Bixen Anti-Tac Sport Pro X trigger, which worked absolutely awesome. You can get those at Bullet Central. Foundation Centurion PRS stock. We've got the Hawkins Precision M5 DBM bottom metal. And we've got a custom 224 Valkyrie and ARC magazine that I put together when I did my 224 Valkyrie build. It is a 308 AICS magazine with an insert kit, the follower, and the spacer from Primal Rights. And that has proven to feed well. This thing feeds really, really good with 22 ARC. And obviously, when you're going a little bit off script with the bolt gun and you're going to what's normally an AR cartridge, feeding is always going to be a consideration in magazines. And this one absolutely worked perfectly. So while I was doing some of my load development, you can see here, this thing absolutely hammers. Have a couple different charge weights here. A Varget, we're using the Sierra 77 SMK bullets. Really, really good stuff. So for shooting, we started at 100 yards. Like I showed you, I did a little bit of quick load development. Got a really great, about 10 foot per second SD load. So really tight group, really tight velocity. Headed up to the Ridgeline range and did some shooting at 335 where this thing hammered. I'll show you that. And then at 660 yards where we have an IPSC target, also hammered there. I'll show you that. That's a tough one. 3/4 of a mil left hold. Hammering. And then we decided to see how far we could stretch our legs and went out to 1390. That's right, 0.8 miles with a 22 caliber. That is a little bit insane. And really, when you get down there in caliber, like down to a 22 caliber, even with these higher BC bullets, the challenge becomes the conditions. And if the wind and the mirage in the canyon is treating you poorly, it's going to be really difficult to get on target. But I've had multiple instances where I've gotten on target really quickly with still conditions, less mirage and less wind. Here's how that went. Okay, here we go. I'm going to hold left edge, 1.6 up. Nothing. I'm trying to look at the heat boil here. Hold center at 14 mils up. Up, yep, okay. More left hold. So we're going to hold half to the left and half up. Oh, a little bit more up, more like 1 with 3/4, 7/8 hold. Impact. So I only impacted the target at 1390 once, but given that I could see my misses, I was actually able to do it, which is pretty amazing, and I felt good about that. Next, I went down to the Ultimate Reloader cabin, where out the back door, we have a picnic table, and that makes a great place to shoot 400 yards on some steel targets we have there. Here's how that went. Hammering. This is going to be on the small target. So at the end of the day, I'm a very strong proponent of the 22 ARC. It brings a lot of the easy to shoot characteristics of the 223 with much more intense long-range ballistic performance. So if you're looking for a rifle that's just for fun, or for a youth shooter, or you want to train people for PRS or something like that, or just have fun hunting, varmints or something like that, 22 ARC is a great choice for a bolt gun. Of course, you could also go with a 22 GT. You could go with a 223 Remington, right? It's really all about managing those trade-offs. And as long as you can get the right bolt face, not a problem for Pristine. You can order it right on their website and the right mag, you're good to go. Okay, so we had a ton of fun shooting. Let's get into some of the differences. This video is going live essentially with the launch of the Helix HDLR Gen 2. right? Here we've got the 6-24 by 50, but you're gonna wanna check the website to see what other models are available. Okay, so the high-level summary is improved optical performance over Gen 1, precision tracking. Some of that was re-engineered, and our tracking test, which I'll show you in a moment, proved that this thing tracks awesome. Capped windage with thread protector, right? This is some of the standard equipment that you're gonna find in the Element lineup. They have high attention to detail, multiple price points, right? Which is great because you can get a lot of the same advantages in a scope with a 30mm tube like this at a very low MSRP, or if you want the absolute best in optical quality, you know, a 34mm tube and all of the bells and whistles, you can go up to something like the Theos, which we've shown here on the channel. Improved parallax, improved eyepiece with the ocular adjustment, improved turret click feel. And I'll have to say, I noticed that, you know, when we're doing our tracking tests particularly, I notice, you know, there's a tendency for some turrets, when you perform the clicks like this, it takes so much force to perform a click, to make a click adjustment, that it's easy to go a couple beyond for the next one once it gets going. But this one is very easy to get one click at a time and to feel them and hear them distinctly, which I absolutely love. There is the included aperture ring for bright conditions, and the MSRP on this particular model, the 6-24 by 50mm Gen 2, is $599, which I think represents a tremendous value. Okay, so again, summarizing the key changes for Gen 2, this time a little bit more specific on specifications. Gen 2 is 0.4 inches shorter at 14 inches overall length. It's 5 ounces heavier at 29.2 ounces. Field of view adds 2 feet at 100 yards, and diopter compensation goes up. So, you know, this scope is just essentially a better version of Gen 1. But of course, it would not be a tested story from Ultimate Reloader if it did not include the optics test rig. Well, when we're talking scopes at least, right? So we put the Helix Gen 2 6-24 by 50 on the Ultimate Reloader optics test rig. This is a rig that I engineered myself and built in the machine shop. And what it does is it allows us to precisely position the scope. It allows us to precisely move and position a camera behind the scope. We can move the camera less than 1/1000th of an inch, and that allows us to perform different tests like tracking. Here we can see the tracking results. We go up 3 mil, down 3 mil, left 3 mil, right 3 mil. And what we observed here was absolutely outstanding tracking performance. It went 3 mil each way and it went back to 0 perfectly. And at this price point, that is really impressive. Okay, then we did our parallax test. So what we do is we start with the camera centered, like your eye would be centered behind the camera. We go 50 thousandths of an inch one way, back to the middle, 50 thousandths the other way, and back to the middle. And what you can see here is with the parallax set to 100 yards, with our test target at 100 yards, things did not move. And that's exactly what you want. If you have parallax error, that will translate to that much opening up of your group, right? And obviously, that's not what you want. Parallax here was perfect. We also ran through a number of different magnification settings. You can see that. That's kind of more for anecdotal information. We found a couple things here. Here I have an image distortion evaluation chart. We just take a frame from the video that we shot through the optics test rig, draw a square, and look for things like barrel distortion, pin cushion distortion, and to make sure that things are level, and they are, absolutely. So the target's level you can see here, and then also look at how well the reticle aligns with the test target as well. Perfection. So, in conclusion, we had a lot of fun with this scope. This is a super fun rig to shoot. I wish you could come here and shoot this, but I can't have nearly 400,000 people over to the Ultimate Reloader Ranch. I don't think that would work. This HDLR Gen 2 improves on the original, right? The performance is better, the price is slightly higher, but I think it's absolutely worth it, and I think it's a steal at the price. What I'm wondering is, what are the street prices gonna be, right? Helix offers tactical scope features at a much lower cost, right? You've got a mechanical zero stop, you've got toolless turret adjustments for elevation and for windage. We've got really solid mechanical performance. We've got a throw lever. We've got two types of caps, rubber or plastic, that are included. You've got the sunshade. Like, this comes with everything that I need in a scope, and it comes in at such a low price point, right? Absolutely love it. What I did want to mention is that we have more content coming with this Helix HDLR Gen 2 that will be published here in the coming weeks here on the channel. So this is going to take things in a completely different direction. So I'm very excited to show you all that. My question for you is, what do you think of the Helix HDLR Gen 2? Have you been running Helix HDLR Gen 1? Are you thinking about upgrading? If so, which model are you thinking about? I absolutely love mine. I'd love to hear what you thought of this story and how I showed the scope on this particular 22 ARC rifle. Super, super good stuff. Thank you for watching. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.